is this? MTV Cribs. Sick. Come on, let me show you. This is my living room. Oh, by the way, my name's Upton Sinclair, author of The Jungle and Oil. Famous American author, you know. Please take a seat. Well, I was born on September 20th, 1878 in Baltimore, Maryland. I had very wealthy grandparents. I actually stayed with them because I didn't really like my parents. They were just always telling me stuff to do, and they were kind of poor, so I didn't want to stay with them. Living with my parents and my grandparents kind of gave me a kind of perception of how the poor and the rich live differently in different social classes, which kind of influenced me and my books. When I was 5 years old, that's when I actually started reading a lot. Like my mom just had a bunch of like cookbooks and stuff. I just read those. When I got a little bit older, I just went to the New York College. I graduated in 1897, chilling. And then I went to Columbia University, and I learned 3 languages: German, Spanish, and French. I still take French right now. I really like French. German, not so much, but it was a good experience. And just to practice my languages and stuff, I would just write 1,000 words a day just for fun, because there's nothing else to do in America back in the 1800s. And then in 1904, that's when things kind of got a little bit exciting. I kind of became a spy. I went down into the Chicago's meatpacking industries. I researched for my later well-known novel, The Jungle. That was kind of fun, kind of gruesome. I kind of became overconfident and ran for Congress, as a candidate for Congress, as a socialist candidate for Congress. And then, I was supposed to die in a nursing home in Brown Brook, New Jersey on November 25th, 1968. But somehow I'm still here today, just like a time machine, I guess. And then, before I died, I was involved in radical politics in Los Angeles. So that was cool. And I guess you could call me a pimp because I had 3 wives. But my writing is both criticizing and documenting. And it just documents the injustices of capitalism and the impact on it on poverty. The movie that I chose that I thought was related to my life and stuff was a movie actually made about my book Oil, which was, it was called There Will Be Blood. It starred Daniel Day-Lewis. It was just a very instructive movie about like oil and like how politics was involved and how people just like got really greedy and stuff. It takes place in Southern California. It's kind of a social and a political satire that skewers the human weakness of all of its characters. So everyone has a weakness, but in this book it just shows how people from like have a weakness in like religion and spirituality, and how some people just like leave their family on their own to go and do work. The main character is Mr. Daniel Plainview, who is an oil tycoon, and the American dream, in my vision, is when someone wants to achieve a goal that they've set that's basically unrealistic or unreachable because it has no end. So people usually start to veer off the path of like living with their family and taking care of their children and caring about their parents, and they just get so concentrated on this goal or this dream that basically has no end and is somewhat a fictional projection that's laid out upon all Americans. But as JFK once said, he said, "We choose to go to the moon," which means that the moon has always been there for thousands of years, and people have always dreamed of going up to the stars and like aim for the stars, like slogans like that, but it can't physically happen. Okay, In the book Oil, James Arnold Ross is the self-made millionaire, and then James Arnold Ross Jr., which is James Arnold Ross's son, which is he's also called Bunny, is basically the protagonist of the book. He goes out just with his father and just stays with him when he does his business with the oil mines. And then there's Paul Watkins, which is Bunny's tutor, and he lived in Germany for a while in the book, which gave him a sense of communism, and he became a communist. But now that Bunny, or James Arnold Ross Jr., is starting to learn with him, Paul is giving him these ideas of communist ideas.
Can't stop the dig to the shindig. Chop top that says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant cousin to the reservation. Defunk the pistol that you pay for. Disfunk the feeling that you stay for. Anytime I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end.
So in the song, when they say can't stop, addicted to the shindig, I'm guessing that means that when people get addicted to the American dream, they just can never leave it, and they'll just always stuck with it. That thought's just always gonna be stuck in their mind, and they just lose consciousness of everything else. Just like, basically, it's kind of like seeing diamonds right in front of you. Kind of just can't take your eyes off them, but you just know that you'll never actually get them. And then chop top, it says I'm gonna win big. He uses words like it says I'm gonna win big. He doesn't clarify about what says he's gonna win big, but there's just that feeling that something somewhere in some place says that he's gonna win big and that he's aimed for it. And that's basically what the American dream is. So getting to the end of my tour, I'm just gonna tell you my favorite painting is Reaching for the Moon, and it's an image of a guy that's standing on that's getting ready to get up on a ladder when he's facing the moon up in the sky. And everyone knows that the moon is thousands of miles away from the earth, but yet he tries to put the ladder on the ground and try to climb up to the moon, which is practically impossible. Which directly relates to the American dream. We're basically setting the path, which is the ladder, to try to climb up to the moon, which the moon represents the American dream, and we're just trying to get to something that we'll never get to. And that's why all these people in these novels and these movies, they just don't succeed in life and they don't make it, because you can't reach the American dream.